Joining me in the studio now from the Alzheimer Society of Lanark, Leeds and Grenville, I'm talking with Education and Support Coordinator Sean McFadden. Sean, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So today we're going to talk about Alzheimer's because January is actually the Awareness Month, right?
Alzheimer's Awareness Month.
Yeah, it is. So Alzheimer's, now you've taught me a lot over the years, so Alzheimer's is actually a dementia.
Correct.
And there's several types of dementia.
Well over 100.
Oh my heavens.
Now, good thing is we don't see all of those.
Okay.
But there is.
All right. So the most common would be Alzheimer's?
By far the most common.
Okay. And Parkinson's?
Parkinson's is up there, yes.
All right. Okay. Let's talk about the warning signs for dementia.
Right.
If we could, please. Now, how many signs are there?
Well, there's 10 of them.
Okay.
And I should point out that we have this information in pamphlet form, and it's quick and easy to read, and you can see the 10 warning signs that we look for.
Okay.
On their own, not so much a big deal, but it's more when you have 4 or 5 of them going on at the same time in a person's life over the course of a day, say.
Okay.
Then that becomes more of an issue that should be looked into.
And it really would be noticeable, though, if there was like 4, what you're going to tell us, if there's 4 or 5 things that are happening to this one person, it's going to be noticeable, right?
Very noticeable.
Okay.
In a lot of cases, the actual person will notice themselves.
All right.
Sometimes they'll talk about it, and sometimes they'll get quiet about it. Other people around them will certainly note.
Okay. Alrighty. So your first one is?
Well, it's memory changes that affect day-to-day abilities.
So would that be like forgetting a phone number or somebody that you would phone every morning?
Yeah, for sure.
That
right?
would be
so
it?
Phone numbers, I had an appointment, I forgot to go to it.
Okay.
The day-to-day things that we schedule into our lives are starting to slip for me. I'm just not on top of it. The second sign is difficulty doing familiar tasks.
Okay, would that be something like doing, for me, I would say like doing up a blouse or buttons and not sure which button goes in which hole type of thing? Would that be that?
Well, that's a good example because that's something we do every day.
Yeah,
right? We
yeah.
get dressed every day.
Okay.
And now I'm having more trouble actually getting it done.
Yes.
Right. So if it's a Parkinson's issue, then it might be a mobility. The fingers aren't working. I can't get the button in the whole part.
Okay.
An Alzheimer's example might be I'm starting to get the order of clothing as I put it on mixed up.
Okay. Yes.
And we all know shoes before pants doesn't work.
Right. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. I understand now. All right.
The third one, changes in language and communication. There's all kinds of different things that can happen to a person around communication in their language. Forgetting the word, though. Now, granted, we all do that.
Oh, I do.
I can't think of the word, but if we think about it long enough, it might come back to us. For a person that's in the early days of a dementia, it won't come back to them. And they might just stop thinking that they were trying to remember.
Okay, all right, I see. Or is it possible that if a person is talking, what they're trying to convey are not the words that they should be saying?
Yes.
Is that possible?
You can use the wrong words.
Okay.
I meant to say door, but I said window. And
exactly.
Everybody in the conversation got a little bit confused.
Yes.
I could jumble the words up, so they're all there, but they're in the wrong order.
Right.
And that, of course, leads to a communication problem.
And all of this is because of the neurons are like dying, right?
Yeah, but pretty much the synapses, the neurons in the brain cells are being affected by the dementia.
Okay, that's better.
And as we jump from one neuron to the next, that flow doesn't happen properly.
Not happening. No. Okay.
The fourth sign.
Yes, please.
Disorientation of time and place. So get lost in familiar surroundings. Right, I go out for a walk. I've done it for years, and now it's taken longer for me to get back because I got turned around.
Or could a person like driving, because sometimes we do hear about a person driving and they're so close to home, but they just can't make it home.
Yep. And we lose the ability to take a detour, right? Now, granted, we take the detour, but as soon as I'm on it, I'm completely lost because it's out of my normal route.
True.
So driving takes a long time to get back.
Alrighty.
Another example might be, why did I go into the bedroom or the kitchen? I'm standing there and I can't remember what I'm in there for.
Oh, Sean, I do that all the time.
The fifth one, moving
Yes.
along, impaired judgment.
Yes.
So a good example is I'm not feeling the best, but I keep putting it off. I'm not seeing the importance of going to the doctor to have it looked into, whatever it is.
Okay, impaired judgment. Could that also be? It's winter time. I don't put my coat on to go outside.
Absolutely.
Could also
Yeah.
be okay?
So my
all
judgment
right.
was poor, it was off.
Yes,
I
yes.
didn't dress to go out for a nice walk in weather that we're having these days.
Yes,
right?
yes, okay,
I'm just
okay.
not prepared.
All right.
Number 6 is problems with abstract thinking, and most of this deals with numbers
Okay.
and finances, paying bills, making sure everything is the way it should be when I'm looking at my numbers. I lose the value of the number and I don't know how to use them.
All right. So years ago, when we used to get bank statements, the paper ones,
Yep.
People would sit down and make sure that everything was paid that should be paid.
Exactly.
But, they would have problems with that nowadays.
They
Yeah.
would.
Yeah.
And that equals a person getting frustrated. Then I pull out the drawer in the desk, put it in there and close it, and then I quickly forget about it. I became overwhelmed.
Okay.
Then we see bills or statements coming in saying unpaid bill, and that's where a family member might start to pick up on things being a little bit off.
Yes. Yes. I mean, this is unusual for them. They always pay on time.
For sure.
Okay. 6.
7, I think it is.
Oh, 7. Sorry.
Misplacing things. Now, granted, we all do this,
Yes, we do.
but it's putting things in odd places that might make sense in the moment. And they use the wristwatch in a sugar bowl example, right? Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
But in the moment, it made sense to that person, and they put the lid on, and then again, it's gone from their thoughts. Or putting things in an inappropriate place. The milk pitcher beside the box of cereal in the cupboard.
In the cupboard. Okay.
All relates to breakfast.
All right.
Maybe my thinking was, I need these tomorrow.
So I just
And-
put them together.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So a
Alrighty.
little bit of judgment issue there as well.
Okay.
Number 8, changes in mood and personality and behavior.
That would really be noticeable, though, wouldn't it?
Well, for a lot of people it is. When we look at a person's personality, that's been set with that person since day one.
Yes.
And everybody knows what their personality is like.
Yes.
It's certainly noticeable when that changes.
Yeah, I would think so.
So people that get that are easygoing, happy-go-lucky people now getting angry over nothing. And
Yes.
you're like, oh, where'd that come from?
Or teary-eyed. If somebody
Very.
you just speak to them and they start crying. I mean, there's
Yeah.
no reason for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Crying over nothing, you might say.
Right.
Where did that come from?
Okay.
9 is loss of initiative, very common. Apathy, the word apathy fits in here. When people just lose the drive, become disinterested in activities that they would have loved, but now they're putting it aside. They're just not doing it.
Okay, so like somebody who like to join a group to play cards or to play a game or whatever, and they no longer, I don't want to do that anymore.
No, it's downstairs. Group meets in the common room, and I just don't have the effort to go and do it.
Right.
So I put it off.
Okay. I'm with you.
In a lot of cases, though, the other people in their world can start the process for them, and then they carry on. There is a lack of ability to start or initiate is part of this.
Okay.
And the last one is number 10.
Yes.
Challenges understanding visual and spatial information. So in a lot of cases, people go to the eye doctor and have their eyes checked.
Right.
I'm getting things mixed up.
Okay.
But it's not an eye problem, it's a brain problem. So I'm seeing something, but the brain doesn't interpret it properly, and I have some issues. A big one would be perception. You have a lot of people catching their toe on the edge of the sidewalk or the curb going up to the sidewalk.
Oh, yes.
They just didn't lift their foot high enough, but to them it looked like it was all right.
Right. Yes.
Or I am always sitting on the arm of a chair in place of in the chair because I'm not lining up properly.
Ah. Would that also account for like if you're going to set a cup down on the table, it's instead of being on the table, it's on the edge?
It could, and then leading to spills. And,
Yes. Okay.
And of course, that can balloon into other issues.
Right. Okay. I got that. So do you have some other information with you for? Are they like tips on how we can like navigate through some of these?
Well, we just
signs?
covered the warning signs,
Right?
and along with Awareness Month, we want people to say, okay, so I've heard the warning signs. Now, what can I do about it?
Oh, good. Okay, good.
So these is brain healthy tips
Yes.
to reduce your risk. So this is stuff that is good for anybody. First one is being physically active, right?
That's understandable. Yes. Yes.
We've always heard it, be active, get out there and do things. But it eliminates a lot of risk factors, right? And this might be the part that people don't clue into. So depression, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol are all risk factors for getting a dementia, but being physically active helps with those, helps to lower them.
John, I read something about salt because you mentioned cholesterol there. I read something about salt, like do not because it can lead to, along with
pressure.
other things, of course,
Yep,
to
hypertension
dementia,
in there.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, if we have too much salt in our diet, of course, your
Yes.
blood pressure
Goes up,
raises.
yeah.
We also have an awareness that we should stay away from ultra-processed foods,
Yes.
and of course,
Cholesterol.
tons of salt there
Right.
to preserve them.
Yeah.
So yes, you're right. Salt is
good,
something to
good. Then the article was right that I read.
Absolutely. Being socially active
Yes.
helps to reduce depression and social isolation. With COVID that we've all just lived through, we've seen how that's affected everybody, and we were all isolated. The senior population didn't fare well with that, and we're now starting to see the results or the outcomes of all of that.
Yes.
But being socially active keeps the wheels turning, keeps interest there.
Keeps people engaged. They're doing something
Absolutely.
rather than just sitting.
Yeah, so volunteering, everybody's a little different what their social interaction might be, but you'll find something. Or get back into those groups that I've kind of set aside.
Yes.
Healthy diet, of course. So there's your salt.
Yes.
It helps with diabetes. We want to lower high alcohol consumptions, keep cholesterol where it should be. So reducing processed foods, sweets. And we want to boost our foods with different colors, right? So there's fruits and vegetables.
Yes.
And being mindful of our eating habits. So the amount, what type of food that we're eating. Is it that processed food or ultra-processed food? Conscious and safe choices. So eliminating head injuries, hearing loss, again, alcohol consumption and smoking.
Okay. So in other words, if anybody is going to, if they've skated years ago and they want to take up skating again, make sure, wear a helmet.
Helmets.
Don't, yeah.
So many winter activities require helmets.
They
so make
do.
sure we're wearing it.
Exactly.
Biking in the summertime, even sports like soccer, for instance, right? Heading the ball we're starting to learn that that's quite detrimental to brain health.
Yeah.
So we're also focusing a lot on Awareness Month around concussions, right? So we're trying to have the younger populations understand that, what happens to you now, you may pay for later.
Later on.
Right? Now, granted, stuff happens.
Yes.
So we don't want to scare anybody.
Yeah.
But we do want to have people mindful that we should look after our noggin now for the future.
Okay.
Always a big one, managing stress. Haven't met anybody that doesn't have stress.
Everybody has stress.
Everybody
it's just the way
has.
you manage it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the risk factors that go along with stress, high blood pressure and depression, right? So if those things are out of whack, your risk for dementia goes up. But we want to make sure that our chronic stress, the stuff we carry around from day to day, is doable.
Yes. Yes.
And sometimes we can think it through, but sometimes we need to talk about it.
You're right. You're right, Sean. Sometimes people don't realize that stress, even just a daily stress, can really can zap the system. It really, really can lead to many other things. So address it. Address it. Sean, for my last question to you is about the Project Lifesaver. How is that going? How is you doing?
Well, it's going on very well. We're going to have, we already have the Leeds in Grenville detachments on board, and they have
Yes.
the equipment, and we're
Good.
rolling with that. We're soon to have the Brockville Police Service and the Gananoque Police Service on board as well.
Oh, that's nice.
So they're yet to receive their equipment and do their training, but it's in the works. And what that means is from the far side of Gananoque all the way to Cardinal and all the way up to Kempville, Smith Falls area will be serviced by Project Lifesaver.
Oh, thank goodness.
And for the people that don't know, this is a bracelet that people wear that if a person has a tendency to wander and we lose track of them, this is a way to bring them home safely.
Yes, yes, I think it's great. I think it's awesome that it's in this area, and
Yep.
we're going to be able to use it. Thank you for sitting down with me today. Really
No trouble.
appreciate it.
Thank you.